It's the dinar, kinda halfway trading on Forex. It's getting a little exciting as we are starting to see fluctuations. First step is to lift sanctions. But now that it's in place, the value could jump quickly. They are laying the groundwork. Question: getting closer to an increase in value for the dinar. Caperoni: next year will be interesting since they plan to end the currency auctions. The banks that we communicate with are well prepared. In fact, for over 2 weeks they have been preparing for clients like you, Iraqi citizens, and me. Sudani is moving at a quick pace. All American banks and all CBI private banks are ready to make the successful transaction from the 3-0 notes to the new lower notes with the new exchange rate. Iraqi banks have also been readied. Question: do we have to pay transaction fees when we exchange at redemption centers? Marks: I was told that one of the biggest reasons to go to a redeeming bank/exchange center is that you will get access to your money right away, and also all fees are already done. This will give you the best rate as possible. Ministry of Transport announces that the completion rate of the development road project designs has increased to 63%. Quote: the Ministry of Transport announced the completion rates of the Strategic Development Road project, which is scheduled to open in 2029. The completion rates for the detailed designs phase of the railway line reached 64%, and the land route 60%, while the cumulative completion rates for the detailed designs of the project reached 63%. Al-Alaq sets date for announcing final results of general population and housing census. A trade surplus generally increases the value of a currency due to higher demand, while a trade deficit tends to weaken it because of increased supply. The relationship between import and export costs and currency value is driven by the supply and demand dynamics in international currency markets, Forex. Iraq's plans for income outside of the oil industry hopefully can eliminate any potential imbalances in imports and exports. Even, the United States is striving to balance the import and export revenues. When you hear Trump saying, "Let's make the country great again," what he's actually saying is, we should decrease imports and increase exports. And we will decrease the imports by adding tariffs to imported goods. Mr. Sami just told me when Iraq cancels the auctions and the changeover occurs to the dinar, that's actually a process of the revaluation. Frank, that is the last step in the process. The question is, when will this happen? In my strong opinion, this is based on the ending of the auction on December 31, 2024, then January 1, 2025 should be a start. Of course, you know this is the Middle East, so I'm not offering you a date. You know the Iranian politicians in Iraq are doing everything to stop it. If this event wasn't real, they wouldn't be stopping it. Our economy and banks in 2025, this is an ongoing theme in Iraq. We saw similar articles right before Kuwait revalued their currency. Iraq is in a phenomenal position compared to the rest of the world. I understand why Jamie Dimon called Iraq the economic savior of the world. My bank represents the CBI. It represents my boss Donny. We will give you hundreds of these private bank sites that will represent the CBI. They are not going to be hard to find. You will see them all over in many different areas, especially close to banks. Tomorrow, the opening of the electronic passport system in American cities of Los Angeles and Detroit. What's that mean? We have some big populations of Iraqis in those communities. On the 16th they're going to allow you to get a passport electronically. There's going to be a lot of Iraqis that have Iraqi dinar just like we do. When that purchasing power comes, they're going to have purchasing power. That's why Sudani and other have been hoping they could repatriate those people, to help that money they have come back home and invest. The electronic passport system, in coordination with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is a big deal. Is there any coincidences? I don't think so. There are no coincidences. Question: is this our weak mark? Marks, there is an excellent chance that it is. Hopefully I will have an update by this evening. Something is going to change because they are looking at changed rates on contracts and what they will be getting paid and how. I do know for certain there have been negotiations over a new rate. So rate is about to change or they would not have negotiated it. There are some pretty excited people in Iraq. You know how many times that makes that Sadoni told the citizens that he's going to keep his solemn oath promise to give them purchasing power. You know how many times he has said that. This is the 9th time. Why would Sadoni be a habitual informer to the citizens that he's going to keep his promise of giving them purchasing power through a new exchange rate by lifting the 3 zeros off their exchange rate and introduce lower notes? Why would Sadoni do that so many times? Interior Ministry, tomorrow, the opening of the electronic passport systems in the American cities of Los Angeles and Detroit. Quote, the Directorate of Civil Status, Passports and Residence would like to inform citizens regarding the campaign to open the electronic passport system outside the country to be available to Iraqis residing abroad. Member of the United Anbar Alliance, Ahmed Al-Dulaimi, revealed today, Tuesday, that the head of the Progress Alliance, Mohammed Al-Halbasi, spent more than $5 million to cover his recent visit to the United States of America. Al-Dulaimi said in a statement to Al-Maluma agency that the head of the Progress Alliance, Mohammed Al-Halbasi, spent more than $5 million to cover his recent visit to America, and his meeting with Zionist figures. During the visit, agreements were concluded whose features were not clear and were characterized by complete secrecy from all parties. He added that Al-Halbasi did not receive any guarantees that he would not be included in the U.S. Treasury sanctions law due to the inflation of his funds, which reached about $5 billion, indicating that Al-Halbasi rented a private plane during his visit and his wife to America, and the management of the visit ceremonies was a Zionist company. He continued, Al-Halbasi also spent huge sums of money to organize many political and tribal conferences in Anbar province and the northern provinces and in Jordan and Turkey to gain internal and external support for establishing the Anbar region within the U.S. administration's orientations to divide Iraq into small sectarian states. Minister of Transport, Razak Mahibis al-Sadawi, confirmed that next year, 2025, will witness the inauguration of the Grand Four Port. Al-Sadawi said in an interview with the official newspaper, the percentages are distributed as follows: key structures for the container terminal, 100%, the road linking the ports of Four and Qasr, 92.43%, while the submerged tunnel crossing Khor Abdullah is 58.47%, and the 10 pieces were submerged in water to be transported in the Khor al-Zubair Canal, the first phase of marine excavation and backfilling works, 79.33%. Progress in the navigation channel of the Grand Four Port by 77.41%. The completion rate in the components of the port, 81%. The completion rate of the 5 quays, 100%. The container yard completion rate, 88%. And the breakwater completion rate, 100%. He stressed that the year 2025 will witness the opening of the first phase of the Grand Four Port.